case you can't tell, I kind of stacked the audience tonight. My name is Vinny. I had a prepared set, but then it was also happy hour before this. So let's see how it goes. First of all, a lot of great musicians before us. This is totally off the script, but one of my favorite things to yell when I have friends who are musicians who play is play it backwards, which they never do. And I think that's because the mixed message of like, it's so bad I want you to Superman to it and undo what you just played. But really it's just because I'm like, oh, it's so great, I want to hear it from every possible iteration. Alright, so now I'm going to actually start my set. Oh, well, the note cards are gone.
Say it backwards!
Alright. I really did not, this was not part of the set. So I had note cards, so I'm going off memory. So this is my first time doing stand-up. I'm pretty excited about it. I feel that it's going to be a lot like therapy, except where everyone laughs with me rather than at me. I'm just kidding. My last therapist was a great guy. I really wish he didn't kill himself. So anyways, had a lot of time to think about stand-up comedy. And I feel like a lot of my favorite comics and comedy come from a real, I don't know, self-loathing and self-deprecating type of comedy where it's just, you know, you debase yourself constantly, and I think it's hilarious, but I have to be careful not to do too much of that tonight because there's a lot of pretty girls here tonight. I don't want my drunk text at 4 a.m. to seem derivative of this. So anyways, I do have a few prepared jokes, so let's try them. Hot dogs. That's the source of a lot of jokes, probably. Next one, I didn't have high hopes for that one. This next bit is based on words that I've heard in college classes that I think are funny. Stop cock. That's a word I heard in chemistry. And also what I've been yelling at myself ever since my first spermarchy. Spermarchy. That's a biology term, and also, I suspect, a system of government ran by man's collective semen. Thanks a lot for ruining that dream, Woodrow Wilson. If you didn't get that, I had to look up when the 19th Amendment passed also. It was under his watch. This bit's terrible, I'll come back to it. So I'm living in a closet. The rent's cheap and it keeps me chaste. I'm pretty sure the only reason I'm actually there is because of this joke. I've been there for about 6 months, and I have a habit of trying to live in awkward places. I guess it really starts about 2.5 years ago when I moved to Michigan. I lived in an attic then. I waited a long time to find a place to live, and I ended up having to settle for a top-story room, as the landlord on Craigslist advertised it. But I could only stand up in the center 3 feet of the room with drastically sloping ceiling after that. And Michigan's a cool place, but I moved there in August of 2011, and when I first moved in, it was pretty hot, like 80 degrees, so not that hot in Florida. But when black tar paper's on the opposite side of your ceiling, I found myself waking up at sunset several nights after passing out on the floor. So that was my first odd place I lived. I went to grad school at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor for engineering, and then I found out that I had my quarter-life crisis, and I decided I did not want to do that. So I tried to jump off that train as soon as possible and break bad in the lamest way possible. So I bought a van, and I made my own Greek yogurt. So So for you Breaking Bad fans out there, that's for you. And then I quickly, after about a month after buying the van, I withdrew from grad school and drove it back down to Gainesville, Florida, which is where I went to undergrad. I gave up the yogurt business because too many people were dying. But I try to live here in the summer. Now, the attic is whatever and the closet's fine, but the van is the best phase of my life as far as jokes go. So I became intentionally vehicularly homeless in Gainesville, Florida, in the summer in a white van. There are a few downsides to living in a van. One, it being the summer in Florida, I would wake up 10 minutes after sunrise every day, drenched in sweat. So in order to avoid that, I decided to spray paint all the windows white. After that, my availability for parking went from nice neighborhoods to shady parking lots only. I woke up one night in my van to a series of drug deals where the drug dealer was, I'm pretty sure, speaking directly through the window at me, but I was leaning against my van. And I laid awake the rest of the night trying to be perfectly still and without making any noise. Another time, I woke up in a dark parking lot to a man who had entered my van looking for things to steal. I'm pretty sure I won that one though, because as soon as I sat up, he ran like hell. So I caught him by surprise on that one. I was quite poor when I moved back. My funds of $350 went dry pretty quickly. So I got a job as a high school teacher. So I got rid of the van for pretty much two reasons. One, I became a high school teacher, and I needed a physical address, as well as the fact that if I ever drove said whited out windowed vans to the high school, it would go into lockdown pretty much immediately. The second reason being, while driving said van, I had the brakes go out on me driving down 13th Street and went right through the red light at 39th Street. Said, praise be to God when I got through it, and sold it for scrap afterwards. So that's the end of my van chapter. Then I moved into an apartment that was next to an abandoned cat house. That was actually probably the nicest place I've lived in the past 6 years. So anyways, I became a teacher. I thought of writing several teacher-related jokes. Here's one of them. I was only a teacher for 1 year, and I decided that it wasn't for me when everyone told me that I shouldn't be a teacher. Secondly, I tried to think of more teacher jokes, but then I decided not to because this assignment is stupid. You suck. And I'm going to play in the NBA anyway, so this doesn't even matter for me. So anyways, retarded potential. That's a physics term. We're back to that, by the way. And also what I'm pretty sure all of my friends say about me behind my back. Alright, so anyways, like I said, I had some note cards. I'm pretty sure there were more jokes on there. But I've forgotten them. Hopefully this hasn't been a failure. Failure is an engineering term. Thanks everyone for coming out.